Welcome back. This is Jessica Morse, and tonight I've been talking about the who's been holding you back. We talked about how sometimes God's the one that will hold you back, and we just recently talked about how people are the ones that hold you back. And now we're going to get to something that'll be personal. It's you that's holding you back. A lot of times we would like to blame that second category that we said. It's people. It's people that held me back from the stuff that I was supposed to be doing. And it's my life circumstances that hold me back. And that's a scapegoat. Can't use it all the time. It doesn't mean that if you've had a difficult past, or if you've had things that have happened to you, or if you've gone through something, or if you're going through something, it doesn't mean that we don't sympathize with you or empathize for you. But what I heard someone say, and they were talking to me, which it woke me up. She said, I don't have any pity for you. And I'm looking at her like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here going through all this, and she was like, I don't have any pity for you. She said, because if I start giving you a whole lot of pity, then you'll become full of pity, which means that you're pitiful. And that just woke me up. I was like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. I'm not a pitiful person. Right now, the circumstance that I have is jabbed me, but I can't stay that way. And I can't blame where I'm at necessarily on everyone else. Whether they had a part to play, that's fine. But if I stay here, that's all on me. If you stay where you're at, it's all on you. You're holding yourself back from getting out of anything that you want to get in. There are so many success stories that we read about in papers and magazines, that we see on TV. So many success stories of people who have gone through something, who have had a difficult past, who have had things happen to them, and have still become successful and have still achieved so much. So we can't use necessarily, and I don't want to call it an excuse, we can't use that item of saying what happened to me back when is the reason that I don't do a certain thing. We can't use that anymore. I think one of the best stories in the Bible is when Jesus walks on water to the disciples in the boat. Of course they were in the boat, and there was a storm, and so Jesus started walking on water to them, and they got afraid. And he says, calm down, don't be scared, it's me. And Peter says, Lord, if it's you, tell me to come out to you. And Jesus, being who he is and knowing the power that he has and knowing what faith can do, said, come. And I like how one of the versions that I was reading, it said Peter got down out of the boat and started to walk towards Jesus. That part right there stuck out to me because it said he got down out of the boat, and it didn't mean that it was easy to get out. And we think that it's like, oh, it's faith. You're saying it's not easy for him to get out of the boat and start working on the water. No, it's not easy for him to get out of the boat by himself and start to walk on water when everyone that he knew and the area where he was comfortable was the boat. There are going to be times you're going to have to step out of what you've known for so long and the people that you've known for so long and walk towards the goal that you have, even if it's by yourself. And then as the story progresses, it says he started to walk towards the water, towards Jesus, but as he saw the waves and he heard the wind, he became distracted and started to drown and said to Jesus, save me. And the same version I was reading, it said Jesus reached out his hand, grabbed him, and pulled him up. And I was, as I learned more of this story in Bible studies, at, different churches or at my different groups, I liked how one of the ministers said it said that Jesus reached out his hand and picked him up. It didn't say Jesus walked towards Peter and picked him up. It said that he just simply reached out his hand and helped him up. That means that Peter was in that close to Jesus. That means he had gotten just that far from the boat and that much closer to Jesus before he got distracted. It means that, and how I'm taking it was like, oh my gosh, for you to get that close and right then and there is when you fall. But it's two things. it's telling us that we're actually further than you think. If it seems like the waves and the winds are just so much harder and they're just so much painful and you feel yourself getting ready, right on the brink of getting distracted, don't, because you're just that close to where you're supposed to be. You're that far away from all the old stuff that you were in and just that close to the new revelation and the blessings and everything that God has for you. You're just that close. Don't get distracted. And should you get distracted, because we're all human, should you get distracted, what is so good to know and comforting to know is that you're just at arm's reach of Jesus for him to pick you back up and walk with you back to where you were. And it doesn't mean even a bad place. He walked to where he took them back to the boat and then calmed the sea. So he took them back to a comfortable area where everything was good and gone. So God is still going to help you get back to where you were, but make it easier, make it better. Take away all those problems. Take away all those situations. So I don't want you to ever lose heart, ever lose faith. And I'm trying not to get emotional because it's like, God, you're right there. So right when I feel like giving up, right when I start to turn my head and look at all the other stuff, I can't. And I won't, because I know I'm just that much closer to you and that far away. That means I've been walking a while and I've gone through the wind and I've gone through this storm. I refuse to be this close to you and then start to fall. I don't even want to risk it. So as many distractions, God, let the waves can come and get over my head. I won't take my eyes off you, because that means I'm just that close. I am what you say I am. Help me to see what you say I am, God. I don't ever want to look and hear what other people say. If people that were in my old boat are telling me, come back, get back in the boat, it makes no sense for you to be walking on water over to him. God, I don't want to listen to what they say. I don't want to hear what they said I was. I don't want to hear them talk about all the things they said that I used to do. God, when I'm a new creature in you, and I'll continue to walk towards a mark. Help me to see what you have said that I am, God. No matter what anybody else says, I am what you see, God.